Peggy Kelly. My spiritual name is Arya. I am a teacher of Iyengar Yoga and meditation and pranayama and Ayurveda.
Namaste, me llamo Eduardo Mata, soy practicante y profesor de Hatha Yoga del estilo Iyengar.
Iyengar Yoga is a kind of yoga that we can customize for each individual, because that is what he did in his teaching. He customized his teaching for each individual. He traveled the world and taught to thousands of people in every continent. And whether he had 1,000 people in front of him or just a handful of people in front of him, he always found a way to communicate with the individuals in front of him. So our job as teachers and students is to understand the difference between when he was talking to a large group of people in general or to an individual in particular. Iyengar Yoga has also been understood as prop yoga, yoga that's always using chairs and tables and belts and blocks and walls and ropes. Or it's called furniture yoga, or it's called yoga of alignment. And yes, we do sometimes use props, but this is to help people understand better how the asanas serve them in their journey toward the soul, as he says in the introduction to Light on Yoga, which discusses yoga philosophy. So his most famous first book is not only about asana, but 30 pages discuss philosophy. So Iyengar Yoga includes philosophy, asana, pranayama, meditation.
Yoga was an obscure, unknown subject, and people had many misconceptions about the subject of yoga. Here was one person who brought so much clarity in conveying the subject to the world, and he demystified it so that everybody could learn. That is, I haven't seen anybody do so much hard work dispassionately and make it popular. But all this was just one man work. It was all his hard work, his experiment with himself, his suffering for himself. He understood the nectar and the poison of each of the asana. He kept the poison to himself and he gave the nectar to the world.
El yoga Iyengar es un tipo de Hatha Yoga que su base principal es la devoción y el amor por la práctica.
I will speak from my own experience. I had a difficult childhood and some sorrow in my life from an illness that my brother had, a mental illness, and some difficulties that my parents had with alcohol. So there was alcoholism in my family and mental illness. For that I was seeking another way of living. And when my boss at work suggested that I come to a yoga class at lunchtime, I said, yes, I will come. And the teacher there showed me Iyengar's book, Light on Yoga. I bought the book the next day. I had the dream that night. And then after I was going every week to class, and then 10 years later began to teach, 15 years later met Iyengar and went to India. Many people, however, come to yoga because of curiosity, or because of a friend who says, come, you may enjoy it, or because a doctor or a health practitioner said, try yoga, it might help your high blood pressure, or your sore shoulder, or your sore lower back, or some part of you that is suffering could be made not to suffer through the practice of yoga. So people come to yoga for different reasons. Clearly, however the path leads to yoga, sometimes people will stay on it, sometimes they will stray from it, but it has much to offer to everyone.
از همه دیده ها نهان تا سوی جان و دیدگان مشعله نظر برم.
The benefits can come from the very first day if you are with a teacher who understands that the job of the teacher is to give an experience of the present moment and to help each student present in the class pay attention. So the job of the teacher is not only to know the asanas, the pranayama, the techniques of meditation from his own or her own practice, but also to bring each student into the present moment to pay attention enough to learn the techniques. So the benefits can come from the very first day, and then the job of the teacher is to keep the student interested and inspired to continue on the path and to give the students tools so that they can practice on their own eventually.
Patanjali prescribes 4 qualities, 4 important practices like friendliness, compassion, joy at the success of others, and disregarding the vicious quality in a person. And that type of, when that friendliness and compassion works, it also transforms the people who come in contact with you. When they realize that you are treating them out of the love that you have, that is an expression of the friendliness and compassion, is an expression, another expression of love. And so when you start teaching with that love in your heart, I mean, don't confuse this with the other love. This is a student-teacher relationship love. It's a parent-child relationship type of love. When you start teaching with that type of a atmosphere, the transformations take place also in the students.
Una clase de yoga Iyengar consiste en asana, que es postura, pranayama, que es control de la respiración, dharana, que es concentración, y dhyana, meditación. Pero hay otros aspectos también que son el yoga, realmente. Pero más que todos estos aspectos es que cada practicante pueda desarrollar el potencial que hay en cada uno de nosotros.
Generally, in the Iyengar method, a class of yoga will consist of a time of invoking Lord Patanjali, the father of yoga, of creating a quiet place inside for 5 minutes, and then a series of asanas that are sequenced very carefully for a particular family of poses. For example, we may teach a class focused in forward bends or back bends or twists or inversions, or we may be teaching a longer class that includes many different families of asanas. And always at the end, relaxation and a time of gathering again the consciousness into the present moment and a little time to feel the effects of the practice, and then the class is over.
yoga teacher, one should never feel superior to the students who come to you for learning. The fact that they have come to you for learning means that there is something in them that is sparked that interest. So it is up to the teacher to cultivate that interest so it does not fade away. So therefore, one of the qualities required from a teacher is humility, humbleness. Then the second quality is self-control. It's very important that the teacher, as it is, the teacher is disciplined. But when you start teaching a group of people, you come in contact with several, and you have to treat each one with respect. As a teacher, yes, you may use a language that appears, or your behavior may appear harsh, but it should come from the heart. It should not come from the head.
Yes, please find a teacher who has years of experience, if possible, someone who has under their belt at least a decade of practice, maybe another decade of teaching. There are many wonderful young teachers, but often there is little depth of understanding there, and those teachers can teach a vinyasa class very easily because the class can just follow them. But for a teacher to learn how to see the students and to advise them of refinements that they can make so they avoid future injuries, that takes a practiced eye and a lot of study. So someone that you resonate with, someone that communicates clearly and answers your questions, isn't always coddling you and patting you on the back and saying good job, but every so often inspires you to work harder. Someone like that, I think, would be a good teacher.
Because healthy body, healthy mind. So when the body and mind both are healthy, why would you want to pollute it? And so gradually the student turns towards something that is hidden within himself, which he knows is there but has never been able to explore it. And that is the soul. So when the soul gradually starts emerging to the surface, student starts understanding the spiritual aspect of the subject. That is his greatest contribution that he has done to make this subject, all its aspects, even the spirituality, available to the common man.